Today, I'm beginning a brand new tier list series where I'm going to be going through the boards from the Mario parties. I'm going to be doing this series 2 games at a time to not make this too much longer than it needs to be. Today, obviously, we're going to be talking about the boards from Mario Parties 1 and 2. Of course, early on, I just want to say that I probably won't have the exact same opinions as everybody else. So I want you all to let me know where you would put all of the boards in your own tier list down in the comments below. Anyway, let's not waste too much more time and let's get into ranking the boards. The first board I'm going to be talking about is DK's Jungle Adventure. One thing that I will always like about boards is when they have multiple boos. One boo is definitely fine, but I always enjoy having the second or even more that are more off the beaten path or just all around. The main thing about this board though is the wants that make you pay coins in order to pass through them or be forced to go onto a separate path. There's also a couple of doors around the map that you can only access if you have 20 plus coins on you. But the one thing that I do wish was different about this board is if we had separate happening events for those of them that are on the boulder path and then those of them that are not in the path of the boulders. Overall, the board is fun to play, so I'm going to be putting it in B tier. Next up, we have Peach's Birthday Cake. This board is basically just one big circle with a smaller circle that you could end up being unlucky and then getting trapped in there for one rotation or multiple. The star will always be on the same space, which is one of the 2, kind of 3, maybe 4 boards to do this in the game. The main way to get more stars in this board is with the happening spaces, which I do like because it makes going around the board more interesting since you're trying to avoid the piranha plants that will have the chance to gobble up the stars that you have. However, other than that one mechanic, the board is honestly pretty boring, so I'm going to be putting Peach's Birthday Cake in D tier. Up next, we have Yoshi's Tropical Island. This board has the star stay in the same location, but it can be changed between 2 specific spots. The way to do it is with the happening spaces, which change the star, and then Bowser. Also, the board has 2 islands that connect with thwomps that make you either pay the minimum that is currently there, or if you really want to, you can crank that price up to as high as you can afford. Which honestly I like, because you can name your own price. Other than that, there's really not much to say about this board other than I do enjoy playing it, so I'm going to put Yoshi's Tropical Island in B. Next up, we have Wario's Battle Canyon. This board sure is something. Each island is connected with cannons, but once you blast off to the next island, it's basically random where you end up landing. So you could get to the island, let's say with both the star and boo on it, and then end up missing both because of the randomness of the landing on the island. I think they tried this formula with changing certain things in a board that we'll talk about later in a video, but honestly this board is just not fun to play, so I'm gonna put Wario's Battle Canyon in F tier. The next board is Luigi's Engine Room. This board's main mechanic is the doors that switch the paths that you can move through every turn. You also have things around the board that you can use to change which doors are open, but those cost 20 coins to use, and honestly, with what I've watched, most people really don't use or care about them. Also, at the end of each path, there is a warp pipe that takes you back to the start where you can also get an encounter with Boo. Overall, it's not my favorite board, but I do enjoy playing it from time to time, so I'll put Luigi's Engine Room in C. Next up, we have Mario's board being Mario's Rainbow Castle. With this board being somewhat similar to Peach's Birthday Cake in that it's one main path to the star, the better thing about this board is that there are slight deviations to either bring you to Boo or to slow yourself down, kind of getting towards the end of the board, just in case Bowser is the one that's currently there instead of Toad. Also, if you end up taking that straight path to the star, it doesn't feel like it takes forever to get back to the star, unlike it feels like in Peach's Birthday Cake. Now again, this board is one that I do enjoy playing, but not as much as some of the others currently in the game, so I'm going to put Mario's Rainbow Castle in C tier. Alright, now we have our first Bowser board being Bowser's Magma Mountain. For the first Bowser board ever, they really did not do a great job. On the board, there are shortcuts that you can take to go through it faster, but you have to not only pay 10 coins to access them, then you have to do a 50-50 roll to see if you can actually go through it or not. If you end up getting the bad part of the roll, then guess what? You just wasted those coins. Not to mention that at the top of the board, you have to go do another roll to see whether or not you're going to either end up going to Bowser to potentially lose either 20 coins or a star, or if you get the lucky chance of being able to see Boo. Now, those things are annoying enough, but it also isn't fun when you land on a happening space and then every single blue space turns into a red space, which again makes landing on the happening spaces annoying as well. So yeah, board's not great, and it isn't fun to play, so it's going to join Wario's Battle Canyon in F tier. And now we're going to be talking about the final board from Mario Party 1 Eternal Star. The biggest difference between this board and the rest of them is that there are 7 star spaces on the board to begin, and then they go all the way down to 1, and after that last one is bought, it goes all the way back up to 7. Also, when you buy the star, you have to do a dice roll, but at least here they give you an 8 through 10 instead of making it a completely random chance. However, you will have to go through the teleporters to get to each part of the board to be able to get to the stars, which can also bring you to something like Bowser when you really don't want to, but of course it can potentially bring you to Boo, which you do want. I will say Eternal Star is a decent board that I do enjoy playing sometimes, so I'm going to put Eternal Star in C. Alright, now we're going to be moving on to the Mario Party 2 boards, first starting with Pirate Land. This board has 3 islands that are connected by bridges that are overseen by pirate ships that will shoot you back to the beginning if you happen to land on any of the happening spaces on said bridges. If you do want to avoid some parts of the board, or if you just want to get closer to the star faster, you can also use the thwomps, kind of like how they are in Yoshi's Tropical Island. It's a really good first board for any of the Mario parties, so I'm going to put Pirate Land in B tier. Next up, we have Western Land. Now honestly, all I can think about when it comes to this board is getting that hootenanny. But this board has train stations that move either with happening spaces or by going to the station that currently has the train there and then paying to ride on it, which will randomly either move you forward 1 station or backwards 1 station. And again, this board does have 2 boos, which, as I've stated before, I will always welcome. So it'll be the first one in this category. Western Land is going to be going into A tier. Up next, we're going to be talking about Spaceland. I enjoy the board in Superstars, but I gotta say that the one in this game is a lot more harsh in the sense of when you use the patrol to move either yourself or somebody else backwards more than the normal on the happening spaces. It puts you in the path going towards the middle instead of the path that you were on like it does in Superstars. So in that regard, it has a lot higher of a chance of making you potentially lose all of your money than it does in Superstars. Again, 2 boos, good for the board, and the chance times are in better spots than they are in Superstars, which I do like, so I'll put Spaceland in B tier. Next up, we have the oh so wonderful Mystery Land. You have 4 islands separated by happening spaces, with other ways being able to get off of them, like a potential key, or by using a warp that takes 10 coins, but could end up putting you on an island full of reds and happening spaces. And aside from that, the board really doesn't have too much else to talk about other than like the shops that you can pay a couple coins to make somebody roll what's basically a cursed mushroom. So yeah, not the greatest, but I will say it's not the worst, so I'll put Mystery Land in D tier. Up next, we have Horror Land. This is the first board to have the day-night cycle that would return as the main board mechanic for Mario Party 6. There's also a crap ton of boos all around the board, with some being active either only in the day and others being active only in the night. And of course, we can't forget about the big boo in the top right corner that if you manage to get to it with 150 coins will steal a star from every other player. Otherwise, if you have 15 coins, you can steal coins from every single player. This is a board that I've always enjoyed playing, so it is going to be my first favorite board going into S tier. And now we're going to be talking about the final board for today in Bowser Land. The main mechanics of this board are the bank being the opposite of the usual banks by giving you money as you pass instead of taking it, but then taking all of the money that it has given out for anybody who happens to land on it. Then we have the Bowser Festival that'll happen every 5 turns that will make any player caught in it lose 2 coins per space until they reach the beginning of the board. And I know that the Bowser Festival is something that not a lot of people love, but I enjoy trying to do my best to put either other people in the way of it or just making sure that I'm out of the way of it. And honestly, it's definitely a lot better than Bowser's Magma Mountain, so I'm going to be putting Bowser Land in B tier. Alright, I have everything in probably the order that I would have it, and that is all of the boards from the first 2 Mario parties. The next video of this series will be going over Mario Party 3 and 4's boards, so I hope you guys will enjoy when that comes out. Either way, thank you for watching, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all in the next one.